You know that feeling you get sometimes when you walk into a place and just something feels off? The air feels heavy and you can't shake this creepy sensation that you are not alone. Well, today, we're gonna visit a few islands where that feeling isn't just in your head, it's real. We're about to take a trip to 3 spots just like that. Islands where the stories are so chilling, so literally baked into the soil, that most people would never ever dare to go there.
All right, our first stop is in the Venetian Lagoon in Italy. It's this small, kind of forgotten-looking island called Poveglia, but for centuries, it's had a much darker name, the Island of the Dead.
Look, this island's history is it's like one nightmare layered on top of another. It wasn't just one bad thing that happened here, but a whole series of them. It started as a quarantine zone way back in Roman times, then it had its most infamous role during the plague, and then they built a mental hospital. It's almost like this place was just destined for suffering. Just try to get your head around this number for a second. During the Black Death, if you had so much as a cough, you were dragged here. Over 160,000 people were shipped to Poveglia. The island basically became a giant open-air crematoria.
And all of that history has a consequence you can literally feel under your feet. Seriously. The story goes that the island's soil is weirdly thick and sticky because a staggering 50% of it is made up of human ash and bone. The very ground you'd walk on is a memorial to the dead.
And if you thought it couldn't get any worse, you'd be wrong. In 1922, the island started a whole new chapter of misery when they built a mental asylum. The doctor in charge, he performed these awful, grotesque experiments on his patients. Legend says he tortured them until he himself was driven completely insane by what he claimed were the ghosts of his victims, and he ended up throwing himself from the bell tower.
And this isn't some old, forgotten history. No way. Even today, fishermen in the area refuse to cast their nets anywhere near Poveglia. Why? Because it's not uncommon for them to pull up human bones, a constant, grim reminder of what's resting just below the surface.
Okay, so from a place of mass death, we're gonna switch gears to something much more personal, and frankly, maybe even creepier. We're heading to Mexico, to the Isla de las Muñecas, the Island of the Dolls. This isn't a story about a huge tragedy, but about one man's deep, dark obsession that created something straight out of a horror movie.
This whole bizarre, tragic story belongs to one guy, Don Julian Santana Barrera. He moved to this isolated little island and claimed that soon after, he found the body of a young girl who had drowned in the canal. He became convinced her spirit was haunting him, so he started hanging dolls from the trees. He thought it would appease her, and he kept doing it for the next 50 years.
So today, the island it's covered in thousands of these decaying, weather-beaten dolls. They have broken limbs, empty eye sockets, and they hang from every single tree. And the local legend? Oh, the locals will tell you that at night, the dolls' heads turn, their eyes follow you, and if you get real quiet, you can hear them whispering to each other.
And just when you think the story can't get any weirder, there's the final, chilling twist. In 2001, after 50 years of his strange tribute, Don Julian himself was found dead. He had drowned in the exact same spot in the canal where he said he found the little girl all those years ago. For our final story, we're going way out into the middle of the Pacific Ocean, to a remote place called the Palmyra Atoll. And let me tell you, this place looks like an actual paradise on Earth. Pristine, untouched, beautiful. But underneath all that beauty, there's a dark history of shipwrecks, murder, and this feeling. A feeling of pure evil. This island really has a split personality. On the one hand, you've got this gorgeous, uninhabited tropical haven, but on the other hand, it's got this reputation for being cursed. It's a place where ships just get lost or crash, and it was the site of the infamous Seawind murders back in 1974, where a couple was murdered for their boat. So the few people who've actually spent time on Palmyra, usually scientists doing research, they all report something deeply unsettling. And it's not a ghost story, it's a feeling, an overwhelming sense of dread. The constant prickling sensation on the back of your neck that you are being watched, and an atmosphere so full of pure negativity that it feels like it could actually break your mind. So there we have it, 3 totally different islands, a mass grave, a bizarre personal shrine, and a cursed paradise. Each story is completely unique, but they all point us back to the same really unsettling question. So what do you think? Are these just a bunch of tragic events and spooky campfire stories?
Or is it possible that a place, an island, can actually absorb the pain and violence that happened there? Can it hold on to that energy like an echo that just never ever fades away? That's the question these islands make you ask.